Okay. So, as Charlotte said, I'm Jaclynn, and I was born and raised in Alabama. I have a bachelor's in science and mechanical engineering from the University of Alabama in Huntsville. And I actually grew up before the internet was a thing, but I've always had a love for learning and figuring things out. At the age of 15, I rebuilt my first engine reading Engineers for Dummies book. Someone that always inspired me was my father. He had a wonderful outlook on life, an amazing heart. We actually both had dyslexia, and he always believed that I could do anything I put my heart into. And he used to tell me something: if you love what you do, then you'll never work a day in your life. And that really stuck with me. I worked as a mechanic in high school. I loved fixing things and figuring out how to modify something to get the most out of my car, high school cars. However, the culture in the shop was not very conducive for a young girl. Back then, especially, women were not thought much of. And I was constantly having to prove my worth. However, I did find that as long as you believe in yourself, you don't listen to the naysayers and never give up, then you can do anything. Now, after high school, I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. So with some help from family, I ended traveling around Europe and Israel. But soon after that, I wanted to give back. I wanted to do something big. I wanted to learn about the world and myself before I went back to school. So I ended up working for the DoD in Iraq, supporting the troops. My job there was more of an administrative position, but I learned a lot about myself. It helped me to begin to understand that engineering, creating, doing things, that's where my heart was. That's what I wanted to do. When I finally did go back to school, I actually went back as a computer science major, just like my brother. But a mix between my dyslexia and I guess that my heart wasn't really in it, I ended up changing into engineering. And then eventually I found mechanical. And so if you don't know what you want to do yet, don't worry. You got time, like you'll figure it out. I had a really great experience in my senior design at university. We had a mission to design to go to Mars. We wanted advice. We weren't sure who to go to, but lucky enough, one of our head engineers had a contact at NASA, and we got to have direct contact to some wonderful people, some great heads at NASA, and they were able to tell us what a successful mission was needed, what to do. It was a wonderful experience to have such wonderful minds talking to us. So as I said, I'm a mechanical engineer. Now I'm one at Accelix in Jerusalem, Israel. Accelix is an automatic sample preparation, flow cytometry, and data analysis platform. Well, there was a video that does not seem available now.
If you wanna either open it in your browser or send it to me, I can open it in my browser if that works.
I don't actually know that I have it. Maybe I can just do it here.
Probably.
In a world where standard approaches and infrastructure required to perform fluid sample analysis can be slow and complex, Accelix offers.
Don't have to be that big.
Okay, that's perfect.
In a world where standard approaches and infrastructure required to perform fluid sample analysis can be slow and complex, Accelix offers an easy push-button assay delivery platform that fits on a benchtop and provides actionable, multi-parametric results in a matter of minutes. 20 microliters of sample is pipetted into the sample injection port, where it incubates to allow the molecular interactions necessary for the assay to take place. From there, the Accelix system takes over. First, blister A is broken, flushing the sample into the front mixing chamber, along with the diluent. The remaining 2 blisters can also be used, depending on the assay being performed, and their diluents can offer up to 4 possible dilution ratios, to account for cell concentrations from 10 to 10,000 per microliter. The sample is pushed and pulled between the mixing chambers until homogeneous. And finally, the sample is drawn through the reading channel, where cells are illuminated one by the laser. Forward scatter and 9 fluorescent channels are collected every 10 microseconds, yielding over a gigabyte of data, which is then processed into an easy-to-read report. Accelix technology allows for extensive customization, enabling us to migrate your assay from labor-intensive laboratory procedures to a consistent, automated benchtop system. Accelix places multi-parametric analysis with unparalleled simplicity and speed right where you need it. For more information, visit accelix.com.
So mostly I work in research and design, R&D. I take an idea, I design it, taking other like many things into consideration. And then usually I'll print a prototype in our 3D printer. Next, then I'll determine the best way to validate that it is working as needed. And then once it's validated and approved, then I'll find a way to put it into effect in production. That can consist of a number of things. Usually, I need to write an installation procedure, and then also production drawings so that our supplier can make it exactly as necessary and check for critical dimensions so that it fits perfectly in our device. I work with different production processes and how to best execute my design and ideas depending on the process. I help update the tabletop device that you saw in the video and also work on the consumable cartridge, the smaller part that goes inside, which holds different samples that our device can test. One of my new projects currently is a new blister pack. And so this will hold the diluent onto the cartridge. This helps to dilute the sample so that we can test it better, so we can get individual samples dropping through with our laser shines. I will determine once we get our first prototypes in, then I'll determine the best way to validate that it's working as it should before we can accept it from the supplier and move on into production. I'm still learning new things even today. There's always new things to learn. So don't think that when you get out of school that you'll be done. Learning is one of the few constants in life, and so stay curious. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, anybody should either you can unmute or you can raise your hand, and I mean pretty much ask whatever is on your mind. So I guess I'll go first because, you know, break the ice. So I mean, first of all, thank you for speaking. I mean, it's really cool what you do. And so you only got, I guess, 1 degree. Did you so you, and that, I guess, I don't know, I think you hear about people like going back to school like, you know, a million times, and so was that, I guess, could like what like has that
I see myself going in the future back to school for maybe a master's, but for me it was enough. I'm in the force. Also, I'm in Israel, so it's a little bit harder to maybe find the classes in English that I would need. And so right now I'm very happy where I'm at.
Cool.
I've got 2 kids. I'm married. We've got a lot of other things going on right now. And I also started a little bit later. I said I traveled for a while. I did other things. And so
Did you always know that you wanted to be an engineer?
no, I don't think so. I always knew I had a very logical mind. I like the way things moved. I like the cause and effect. I don't even think I really knew what engineering was until later. And then it was just my classes lined up. It sounded really neat. I really enjoyed learning it. And then that was me.
Very cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that because you were born in like, do you think that because you were born in Alabama that like influenced it, like your decision to do engineering?
Honestly, I don't know what it's like to be born anywhere else. So that's kind of hard to say. But I think I was able to have a lot of space to do a lot of things and have a lot of ideas being from Alabama. But I don't know what it's like to be born anywhere else.
Oh,
But,
Sylvia, do you want to go?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Did you ever have any involvement with like Space Camp or the U.S. Space and Rocket Center growing up?
well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I did it as a kid, and we went for school trips there. It's really awesome. I went more on an engineering route than the astronaut route. But yeah, the Space and Rocket Center there is great. And I've heard it's doing like really good things. And lucky enough, I actually lived across the street during college. So they have wonderful fireworks.
Sarah?
Did you ever like have a moment where you wanted to do something else that's not like engineering based? Or like were you always into engineering?
Well, I tried doing computer science. My brother was in it. My brother's quite a bit older than me, so he had like when I started school, he had his master's, I believe, by then. He was working on his master's. He was also a National Merit Scholar. My brother was very, very smart, is very, very smart. But he was doing a lot of things in computer science, and I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be so cool. I'm gonna do it too. And then no, it just my dyslexia, the needing to find a period in something, the needing to find your one little thing in that line of code, I couldn't concentrate on all the things enough. And I was taking other math classes and deeper stuff, and I found out that that was actually the path for engineering. So I was like, you know what? I'm already on this path. This is already more interesting for me and not such a hair pulling thing. I didn't want to do this hair pulling thing for the rest of my life. So I went down the other path, and then I found out that it was mechanical. That was what I needed. That was my strength. And so, yeah, I started somewhere, but my brother is great in it. He is amazing. PhD. You said something about needing more degrees. He's got it all. Please. But no, I'm happy with my one now and my mechanical engineering. And I really love what I do with my company. Like we're doing great things and hopefully changing lives.
Well, when you originally chose to do mechanical engineering, did you expect that it was going to have such a like personal impact on people? Because like, obviously with like mechanics and like, I would say it's not a medical thing necessarily. And so does that, change how you, I guess, feel about it?
I don't know if as I feel about it, but I definitely think I went in, especially coming from Huntsville, as it being more of an aerospace thing. And that was, you do things flying, that's what you do. They're driving or flying or something. And then when I ended up in Israel, I had a mentor who was actually the head of this company, and I didn't even think that you could need a mechanical engineer with this job, like within this company. And then I found out they did, and I went from thinking of things that could leave this planet and so big you can barely wrap your head around, to one of my first designs was like this big. And on my computer screen, it was bigger, and I was used to doing everything so big. And then it was just like so small. But I really stand behind what they're doing, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy it every day. My heart's in it. And it's fun. It's not like work.
So, you'd say that to, for at least in biomedical engineering, you don't have to specifically want to focus on, or want to have originally focused on, the bio part of it. Like, as in,
What's
like,
that?
I mean, I know that like people might, be interested in biomedical engineering, but might not necessarily, have thought to be so interested in like, medicine or stuff like that. And so it sounds like there's really an opportunity for, I mean, all different people, or, to be able to contribute, which is really cool.
Oh yeah, and all different backgrounds. And you each bring your own thing to it too. And then you learn about new stuff in the field that you're in, because you want to advance, you want to see how much you can figure out, how much more you can improve it, where it can, use your help or tweaks. Things, the only other, I said that learning was a constant, one of the few constants in life. The other constant in life is also change. And so everything is always changing, whether it be for the better or the worse. But if you can constantly learn on how to improve and make things better and have fun with it, you're solid. I don't know if they'll say that anymore. That's probably a outdated comment.
Oh, that's really cool. Does anyone else have any other questions? Speak now or forever hold your peace. So I just want to say thank you again, Jaclynn, for speaking. This was really awesome. This will be on YouTube, so get psyched. And thanks to everybody else who came. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sure you did.
Thanks.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you so much.